So here's my preview for tomorrow's a game that kicks off at 4:30, which will see Arsenal go to St James's Park and play Newcastle. So, I'm gonna be honest, as an Arsenal fan, this is always a fixture that I dread. I never like going to St James's Park. I think the crowd there are always, Newcastle have a very vocal fan base. I think the physicality of Newcastle, we do always seem to struggle. Playing Newcastle home or away, but I mean especially away from home, they always seem to cause us problems. So it's not a game that I enjoy watching. It's always a stressful watch. This one, Newcastle as well. They're not conceding many goals this season. Obviously, we don't have to worry about the threat of Alexander Isak anymore. However, they are still adjusting to that, and they are still, as I said, very hard to break down. They've not conceded many goals at all this season. It's and their midfield is always good. They've got Tonali, they've got Bruno Guimaraes, they got Joelinton. They've got a very strong midfield. Even on their bench, they got Ramsey from Aston Villa. So it is a very strong midfield. They're not quite getting the goals they got last season because of Isak. But Anthony Gordon will be back for this game. He does enjoy a goal against Arsenal, so we do have that to worry about. Arsenal coming off that draw with Man City. Again, it's one of those. It was a draw, and I don't think a draw away to Manchester City is a bad result at all. But it's just it kind of feels like a loss in the fashion it was, and by that I mean I know we went 1-0 down. However, I felt like we wasted 45 minutes. That first half was just. We were sitting back too much. We weren't really, making many chances. The midfield was too, I think, defensive. We really need to be starting Eze in that game, even Wanyeri. And so, it wasn't. It did feel like drop points. But after this game, I would say we do have a favourable run in. I don't want to speak too soon because obviously nothing's guaranteed. But it does feel like we've got a favourable run in after this game. So, a win here would be massive. So now for the predicted lineup. So in goal, I'm going to go with David Raya. He is our number one goalie. It's the most obvious choice. Kepa played the last game against Port Vale in the Cup. However, David Raya is the number one goalie, so that's not going to change. And he's been brilliant this season, so at no point is he going to be dropped for the game, and yes, he can't be. Onto the defence now. So at right back, I'm going to go with Julian Timber, who has been one of our best players again this season. One of the best right backs, if not the best right back in the Premier League. So absolutely no problems there. Left back, I'm going to go with Calafiori, who again has been brilliant this season. Obviously got the goal against Manchester United in the first game of the season, which won us the game. Miles Lewis-Skelly played in the last game against Port Vale, but Calafiori will be our starting choice left back this season, it seems like, as long as he's fit. And then the two centre backs, obviously Gabriel and William Saliba. Now I know Mascara did very well when Saliba was unavailable. However, Saliba is our first choice centre back, and it looks like he's signing a new contract, which is brilliant news for us. Then in the midfield, I'm going to be going with Martin Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. I believe that is our best midfield three. When they're all at their best. I know Odegaard's not been too great this season, but I do think he will play this game. Apparently, he was in full training, so I do think he'll be fit. I know he's had a couple of injury woes this season. He's missed a few games, or there's been a bit of a concern. They won't be able to play, but I do think he will be fit, and it sounds like he will be playing in this game. Declan Rice, I still think we're yet to see the best of him this season. Not quite kicked on from how well he was last season, but I think he'll get there. We know the quality. And Martin Zubimendi being very calm, very composed, and has been very, very good for us this season. Then finally, up front, I'm going to go with Eze on the left. I'm going to go with Saka on the right because unfortunately Madueke is injured, and it's a shame because we were really starting to see as a quality player in there, but he's going to be out for I think a couple months. I think it was looking like so. It will be Saka, and then up front it will be Victor Gyökeres. He is our main striker, but especially with Havertz. Even when Havertz is fit, Gyökeres will be number one, but Havertz is still out injured, so it will be Gyökeres, and hopefully these are the type of games we need him to step up against those teams that are hard to break down. Very defensive and or very strong defensively, and we it would be great if he can break the deadlock here. So for my score prediction, I'm going to say 1-0 to Arsenal. Now, I've been speaking about how good Newcastle are defensively. However, I've not mentioned how good we've been defensively, so I really don't think there'll be many goals in this game at all. I'm going to say 1-0 to Arsenal. I think Bukayo Saka will be the scorer. Let's go with Bukayo Saka. You let me know your score prediction down below in the comments. Who do you think will score? Are you feeling confident for this game? Let me know. And I hope to see you in the next one. Be sure to follow for more football videos.